Welcome to the Dallas Duo Podcast,
your weekly wellness coffee date.
We're friends in Dallas, always looking for the best ways to optimize our health
and have fun along the way. Today, we are talking about a supplement that's been in the men's locker room for decades, creatine. But now it's stepping into the wellness spotlight for women. I have to admit that I was very skeptical, and this is something a very late adopter. If you would have asked me to take creatine maybe even just last year, I would have been like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I don't want to get bloated. I'm not trying to, do a powerlifting. Yeah, I'm not going for the gains. But I am all over this trend. I've been taking it for, 3 months now.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I am starting to see and feel some of the benefits. So I am very excited about that. Whitney, tell us what your view is on it, or what it was before.
So creatine is so funny to me. So I've known about creatine for a long time because unfortunately, I only dated quarterbacks. So it was always on the fridge. I can see that red bottle right now that was probably for most of you on those people that you didn't marry, but you dated on the top of their fridge. Masculine brandy powerhouse creatine. But when I came into private practice, it was really important to me to constantly read research. Every week I was reading and I was getting inundated with women's health studies on creatine, which was so confusing to me because one, women's health is not studied a lot. We know that there are so few research studies on women's health. And two, creatine, to me, that seems like the ultimate male supplement. And opening my eyes to it and taking it a step back, it is so incredible. And I have taken creatine for the past, probably 3 years at this point. I took it through pregnancy.
Oh, you're able to take it through pregnancy? I didn't even know that. It's
pregnancy safe. It has been tested in women, children, pregnant populations. And we know that when a supplement is safe, that it is tested in a pregnant population. There are so few things that are tested in pregnant populations. That's always my sign to say, this is a safe product for so many people. So I'm really excited to break down what it is, how we use it, and how it's beneficial, because if you are looking to improve muscle mass, brain cognitive function,
yes.
Reduce some brain fog, see some lean muscle gains, not bulky bro gains, that this could be the thing that really supports your metabolism, your fat loss goals this year. It has so many applications.
And also what I like about it is it's an inexpensive thing.
It is inexpensive,
yes. Which is great. And I think for me, it really popped on my radar the more I've learned about perimenopause and this phase that I'm going through right now. And it kept popping up as being something that would be beneficial to add as far as recovery and to be able to build and preserve muscle mass. Of course, I'm all in on that, and the cognitive function benefits as well. So I'm really excited to share this with everyone.
We had been talking and I was like, hey, if I had to choose between collagen and creatine, I would choose creatine. It's cheaper. It's also naturally made in the body. It's a natural compound made of 3 amino acids that your body naturally makes. We can get it in dietary sources from meat specifically and fish. But when we add a creatine monohydrate, one that's very concentrated and broke down into its compound form, you're going to see even more benefits. But the tolerance of it is really good. Most of my patients tolerate it really well. And like you're saying, perimenopause in this season, we're trying to focus on how do we reduce muscle loss? How do we reduce bone loss? How do we preserve the muscle mass that we have and maybe even increase it? So creatine is the perfect support for that, especially if you have a hard time meeting your protein intake or a hard time seeing lean muscle mass gains. This is a tool that you can utilize.
Yeah. I think that it's, wonderful. You just described, what it is, but for our listeners who are thinking about adding it to their routine, what would be the recommended dose that you would say to start? I've been taking 5 grams. That's where I started. I've heard you can do 2.5, but I was like, well, if I'm going to go all in, might as well just start with 5.
2x that dosage. Yeah. So 3 to 5 grams is the normal amount that's recommended. There is a loading protocol. If you want to see really quick saturation, there is a process that you could follow that is increasing the intake quicker, faster, early on to see that you super saturate your muscles. But for most people, I just say 3 to 5 grams daily. And few caveats here. People think that this is something like pre-workout that you need to take before a workout so that it benefits the workout. That's not how it works. You can actually take it anytime throughout the day. It's just consistency that matters for outcomes. So I just want to see that patients are taking it regularly on a daily basis. So I like to habit stack. I put my electrolytes and my creatine all in one water bottle, and I will drink it post-workout because that's when I remember, but you can take it any time of the day. It truly is tasteless, I think, and mixes really well with like water or any type of liquid that you want to add it to.
Yeah, I'm actually drinking mine right now. I've got my creatine and I've got my aminos, and I don't think it tastes like anything. I think as long as you put it in something ice cold, I think it mixes in really easily. I think it's a really good point that you made, that as long as you're taking it daily, the timing doesn't matter as much, because I always thought like you had to take it before you worked out. But
no, timing doesn't matter. And really, so creatine is stored in your muscles. So it's made of arginine, glycine, and methionine, 3 amino acids. And its job is to rapidly produce ATP. ATP is your body's energy. So you want to think about it as like sources of quick bursting energy like you would need for lifting, sprinting, climbing stairs. So it's just going to increase your body's ability to produce muscle, and most of it is stored in muscle tissue. So that's where we're going to see when people start taking it early on, they tend to feel a little bloated because they're retaining more water weight. And so their muscles become saturated. And because of that, there's a little bit more water around their muscles. That temporary feeling goes away, but you can feel a little bit more water heavy, depending on kind of how in tune you are with your body from that early intake of creatine when you start.
do you think if that happens, do you think it's just, being well hydrated will also kind of help?
Yeah, well
Flush that
hydrated.
if you're feeling that way.
Eating like potassium rich foods, because that helps kind of really move water out of the body as an electrolyte tool. But that is something that goes away when you're looking for a product too. The one thing that I love now that creatine is more popular is that it's not just in the like bodybuilder section, because honestly, a lot of the creatine that I saw my ex's take was the one that had like artificial flavors and red food dye and like sprinkles and kind of like weird
even maybe like some pre-workout stuff.
Yeah, like it was mixed. Yeah, it was like everything all in one, like caffeine, testosterone, everything.
All the things.
Yeah, steroids. Why not? But now when you buy creatine, you want creatine monohydrate, one ingredient. Pharmaceutical grade companies like Thorne, Seeking Health all offer one ingredient creatine. And there's not like a superior form than another. Like just get the one that you have available access to. I use Full Script for my patients. They order it through there. But I've used lots of different companies. There's not one that I'm strategically utilizing versus another.
Yeah, we've been using Transparent Labs, but mostly also because they make a travel pack. So like, just single
And they
serving.
like, everything is like heavy metal tested. If you use something like Transparent Labs or like a physician grade company, pharmaceutical grade company, it's going to be quality and tested, which is what we're looking for, really just for safety.
So Whitney, I know you are like so up on all the studies, and I saw something in the notes that was really interesting that I did not know. Where it said that women naturally have 70 to 80% less creatine stores than men. I had no idea. So it's even more important for women.
And so this makes sense too, because women in general have less muscle mass. And so most of your creatine is being stored in your muscle mass. So you naturally have less creatine. And so supporting your creatine intake, women tend to eat a little bit less protein, have a little bit less muscle. And so we have less creatine storage. Now, the one thing that I want to point out is people always tell me, I would love to take creatine, but I don't want it to hurt my kidneys. And so I want to talk about this because most people associate the word creatine with creatinine. So I want to talk about the difference. Creatine is an intake. You want to think about it like a fuel. Creatinine is an output. It is the waste guard that comes out from your kidney and from kidney function. And it's what your body releases, and it's what's measured as part of your kidney disease function check, kidney function levels. So some individuals who have kidney health problems or a low GFR or a history of kidney disease may not be applicable for taking creatine. But for most individuals, we actually see that taking creatine does not worsen kidney function. So there is a slight increase in your creatinine levels when you take creatine, because creatine comes in and raises that level because some of it sits in your kidney and your kidney's function is then measured by that creatinine level. But a lot of people think that they are taking creatinine, which that's like an output waste product. So I just want to clarify that they are not the same things. They are a different measure, and that wouldn't be something that I would coincide together, but the wording is very similar. There's just a couple different letters in there. So you want to think of creatine as a fuel and creatinine as the exhaust, which is really checking how your system is running. So even though you have an increase in that creatine, even if you have an increase in the creatinine level from the creatine, it's not necessarily dangerous or concerning for your kidney just because you have more creatine on board. But in general, if you have a family history of kidney problems, it's something to discuss with your doctor. But in general, it's a very safe supplement to take.
I'm really glad you clarified that because even the spelling of that is kind of confusing.
Yeah.
So
they're very similar.
Very confusing.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad you clarified.
Yeah. So when we think about creatine, there are this classic idea of it supporting muscle mass, but there are actually some really fascinating research studies on creatine that have nothing to do with muscle mass.
I really want to dive into that because I feel like there's so much more than just the muscle mass.
We were joking this morning and I was like, wow, like how incredible would it be if LDU would start, putting creatine in my coffee? And it's not for muscle mass. It's because we find that research actually shows that because creatine increases ATP and energy within your body, that it can actually reduce mental fatigue or improve, brain cognition, mental function. How cool that this could be something to directly help with like neurodegenerative decline in aging populations just by taking creatine.
That's amazing.
One of the other ones is that creatine helps with mood. So 2011, there was actually a study done that showed that creatine may be a treatment for depression in women. Again, directly working on the brain. I think that this is so interesting that there is the potential for creatine to have a mood benefit like outside of the locker room. It's not just about muscle and strength.
That's amazing. Another thing I heard was also that if you are sleep deprived, which of course we all should be trying to have good sleep hygiene, getting enough sleep. But if you are, that creatine is also something that could help with your, brain function and mood if you're in that state.
Like brain fog, fatigue, low mood, all benefit from this supplementation. And I think for me, I'm always looking for like, what is the low hanging fruit?
Mm-hmm.
What is a really easy lift that I can provide a patient? And I know a lot of times like we're magnesium deficient. Like that's an easy add. Or we may be deficient in vitamin D. Yeah. But again, this feels like just as easy. Like Andrea has it in her water bottle, no change. It's just a nice little habit stack. So this year, if you're like, wow, I want to add one supplement to my routine and I am in perimenopause or I'm strength training routinely, this is something that I would add.
When I heard that information about sleep deprivation, the first thing that came to mind was this could be amazing for new moms because, you're experiencing so much sleep deprivation during that time.
Yeah. Well, and two, like sleep deprivation and brain fog. Postpartum brain fog was so incredibly real for me, but also muscle mass. Moms tend to lose so much muscle mass postpartum because you're going through this traumatic experience, but you're also very sedentary. You're in a rest period and you're breastfeeding and you're also putting out all of this excess energy, or even if it's just sleeplessness with formula feeding, irregardless, you are home, you are sleepless, you are fatigued, and you're losing muscle. And if there's one product that I knew that my partner or my nanny could dump in my water that could make a big difference in my health, why not? Especially if I don't have to take a pill form. I feel like I took so many supplements postpartum, and if I could do an easy powder instead, I'm a big fan.
Yeah. And it's like during that postpartum period, wanting to hydrate as much as you can anyway. So just adding all the things to your water, why not?
Yeah, it's like a very easy habit stack. Again, a lot of these recommendations are very research heavy, and we want to make sure that we provide evidence-based resources. So all of the studies and research that we have referenced today, we'll link in the show notes so you can do your own research. These products and supplements is always something that you choose. Does this benefit me and should I add it? And we want to give you the resources and the recommendations, and then you can do with it what you choose. But again, the nice thing about creatine is that you eat it when you eat meat and fish, and your body also makes it. And so you're getting it even if you're not supplementing it.
Yeah. It's one supplement that I wish I wouldn't have waited so long to take, not knowing about it, but I'm taking it now.
Yeah. So you have it daily and you've incorporated it, and it's like, what's great for you.
Yes, it's worked out really well. I put it in my water in the morning, sip on it as I'm getting ready to go to the gym. Usually end up finishing up there. I have been combining it with aminos, which I think is a good combo together.
It's just it's like a complete amino acid combination with a incomplete. So that makes sense.
Yeah. So I've been doing it that way. I know a lot of people incorporate it with their electrolytes. So that's like another way
or like
you can do it.
pre-workout, kind of like whatever's in your water bottle, I feel like.
Or it's easy to put in a smoothie as well. But how are you having it? How do you incorporate
I do it with my electrolytes after my workout because I feel like that's just a common time that I'm like drinking water already and I know it's going to work for me.
Yeah.
So
That's perfect. It's easy.
yeah, I think that my recommendation, try it for 30 days, like buy a bottle, work your way through it and see if you notice a difference. If you have a little bit better mood, you have a little bit more lean muscle mass and have more energy, then perhaps it's something that you continue to do.
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that stood out the most is, as we age, we're losing muscle mass. So, of course, I want to be doing everything I can to maintain and build and support that. So, for me, it's really been a no brainer. So,
yeah. Well, we're excited to see what you think. If you try it, if you need specific recommendations, reach out to us online and we'll be sharing more about other supplements that we have added to our routine that have benefited us.
Yeah, I think this was great. Let us know if you have any questions.